my lab primarily focuses on how mental health impacts the rest of the body. So while most labs that focus on mental health focus on the brain and focus on behavior, mine really asks the question, how does mental health impact the rest of your physiology? And we primarily are looking at how the brain interacts with the immune system. So those neuroimmune interactions and essentially how those impact not only the function of the rest of your physiology, but also how they can feed back and actually impact behavior as well. The main scientific questions we're asking in that process are, how do mental health disorders like PTSD, psychological trauma in particular, really directly impact those immune cells and to cause dysfunction and disease down the road? I think we have a really good balance in my lab where students feel that they can pursue their own ideas, their own hypotheses, but they still have to be focused on their specific thesis project and make sure that they're productive and finishing in a timely manner. I think it's very important that students that come out of graduate school be very well-rounded. Many labs focus just purely on the scientific set of skills, and I have a different opinion on that. I think more well-rounded scientists make better scientists. So while we absolutely work on all the scientific aspects, not only the practical, the technical, the theory, we work on thinking and expanding our ideas and our hypotheses. But on the flip side, I also want to really focus on the personal development and professional development, leadership skills, teaching skills, speaking skills, budgetary management, all the things that you may not think go into science, but are absolutely critical to becoming a leader in science. And that's really what we're training here when we train PhDs. A productive first year in my lab would be a student that really is able to find the project that they're going to take on for the rest of their PhD. And that might seem like a small task, but it's not, because a lot of times projects don't work out. And so you might be juggling 3, 4 projects at the beginning to try to see which one actually is going to work out and which one actually could develop into something completely new and novel. And so for me, in that first year, you're really developing the basic skills of functioning in the lab and identifying a project that is going to take you the remainder of your PhD career. And then on top of it, and probably just as important, is in that first year, you're really focusing a lot on your classes. So I really want my students to be very successful in their coursework as well, so that they come out of that first year very confident and successful in their scientific career. This is the most important aspect of my job, is preparing students and trainees for the next stage, because this shouldn't be their last stage of their career. This should be the first step in their career. So the key to that success is understanding, where does the student want to be? And that's a really, I think, overlooked question, even though it's the most simple question. And the reason why I say that is because every student's trajectory should look different. And how we do it in my lab is usually the first 2 years, the years before your preliminary exams, they all look very similar. You're focused on your coursework, focused on your research project, maybe your fellowship application written. They all look very similar as you're learning the basic skills. But after that preliminary exam, that's really when the education becomes much more tailored. Because at that point after your prelims, you're really on the downhill slope to graduation. And for me, I want you to be the most prepared for the next stage of your career. If that's a postdoc, we do a more academic traditional route. If it's a teaching job, we're going to find those teaching opportunities in those last 2 years. If it's government, we're going to try to find the right position, networking, etc. for you. So that's really the trade-off that I have, is that you still need to contribute to the lab, do your PhD, and do the basics as part of your contract. But as part of my contract is to try to help you be the most prepared and ready trainee for your next stage of your career by the time you graduate.